Good evening and welcome to another episode of Bahrain Now with me, your host, Bara Abdallah. We've got a great show lined up full of local talents, initiatives, and happenings from around the island, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Here in the studio, we have La'ala, who is a scuba diver, who will be talking to us about the world under the sea. So, good evening, La'ala. How are you?
Good evening. I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I am very excited to hear your story. Not only you're a scuba diver, but you do so many things as well. Let's just focus about those experiences under the sea. So, what happened? How did you start?
I started about 3 years ago now. It's been something that's been on my mind for a while longer, but to get the certification, which you need to be able to dive, there are various certifications that you can get. I personally got the PADI certification.
Okay.
And I kind of needed to dedicate some time to it. And in my previous job, I just never really had the time to kind of spend a week intensively doing this course.
Okay.
But alhamdulillah, I managed to do it a few years ago and started diving. And it's just been an amazing experience. Honestly, the first time when you first start to practice and get your license, you actually start in the pool. And even starting in the pool before I'd even gone into the sea, for me, it was,
wow.
You know, for lack of a better cliche, a whole new world.
Lack of a cliche.
Okay. But it really, genuinely, it was just incredible. It's something that a lot of people ask me if I end up being scared under the water, but I actually feel a lot calmer and a lot more at peace when I'm under the sea. So it really is, it's something I encourage a lot of people to do, and I've personally had a lot of friends who have gotten certified after seeing me start to dive, which is lovely. And I've got, my baby cousins are 6 and 9, and you can't start diving until you're about 10 or 11. And they're literally, every time they see me every week for Jam'at al-Bayt, they're like, okay, am I old enough yet? And I'm like, almost. Almost.
Just stand right there. It's just a sport.
Just a
marker right there.
a little bit longer. But I mean, it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. And our waters here are not as clear as some waters abroad. We do have, especially with Al-Dafan, the reclamation that's happened over the years. And whenever you have those like big ships that come in, the container ships, they kind of move the sand underneath. So there are days where it's clearer than others. But overall, we've got something that nobody else has, which is, of course, our pearls and our oyster diving. You have to get a separate license for that from the ministry, but it's fascinating to be able to go down and be so in touch with our history and have that experience.
Beautiful.
My great-grandfather, so my mom's grandfather, was actually a pearl diver.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's where I got my name from.
So La'ala.
La'ala.
Right.
So it's been like a full circle for me to be able to do that myself. Was something that was very
amazing.
special.
So was that what pretty much got you into scuba diving?
Not really. I was just, I'm someone who likes a lot of adventurous things. Like if you're gonna throw me out of an airplane, I'm game. If you know you're gonna go paragliding, I'm game. We top of the mountains and just like.
Are you gonna go for that as well?
Yeah, I have done most of those things.
Okay, you've done it. It's like check.
Yeah.
So what's the next adventure? I guess space.
Oh, God, I'd love that.
You would love that.
I would love that with a burning passion. I wouldn't mind. I actually thought about when I was still deciding what degree to do, I actually did think about whether or not I could go into pure mathematics so that one day I could train to be an astronaut. And then I changed my mind. So
that's what it takes to be an astronaut?
Well, there's a lot of different fields, but you would have to be kind of the top expert in your respective field. It depends. So, for instance, there's horticulture and all sorts of other fields that are also necessary, but pure maths would get you in the door faster than a lot of others.
So as we've been talking offset, pretty much, not only you've been doing scuba diving, going under the sea, but you were pretty much a journalist for like over 5 years?
Yeah, I was a journalist for 5 years after graduating.
Okay, and you graduated as?
I graduated with a double major in English literature and psychology.
Psychology, English literature?
Yeah.
Double major?
Yeah.
Wow. So pretty much right now you're talking to me and pretty much like you're diagnosing the entire personality as you talk.
I mean, I could, but why would we do that right now?
I mean, because the possibility is happening.
No, know. I mean, I've learned over the years to switch off that part of my brain when I'm having a regular conversation, because people don't like it when you sit and diagnose them unnecessarily.
Oh wow! Oh wow! So now, as you've been pretty much a double major graduate, right? You did journalism, so I'm sure you're gonna find the best words to describe how does it feel. Even though you said, you know, tranquility, and you feel calm, but if you want to tell somebody, you know what, how does it feel to dive deep?
I think it's an eye-opening experience. It's something that really, if you are passionate about the environment, which I am, it's something that also kind of comes back and shows you exactly what effect we're having on the environment, because it's easy to ignore when you're on land. It's a lot harder to ignore when you're in the sea. And if you've been diving with people who've been diving for 20 years, and a lot of the people in the diving group that I go out with have, then they can tell you how much the coral has changed and all the different aspects of what Bahrain used to look like under the sea and what it looks like now. And so it just makes me even more passionate about the environmental nature of things. But under the sea is, I think, the other aspect of it actually, as I mentioned, the dive group that I go out with, whenever you're underwater, you have to go down with what we call a buddy. So somebody else is responsible for you and you're responsible for them. So you never dive alone, because you never know with the sea. I mean, obviously we have our precautions in place, but at the end of the day, it's the sea. So you need to be as careful as possible. And that kind of connection that you have, and that kind of taking care of somebody else while they take care of you, is also pretty special underwater. And being able to move through that into joking around under the water and blowing bubbles and just literally just like doing little dances under the water. Sometimes we literally try to make each other laugh, which is not you'll swallow water if you do. But it's fun sometimes to just kind of take the levity out of the situation. So.
As you're right now, you're talking about, you know, joking and bubbles, like it's like you can just like communicate through bubbles and just form a joke and then punchline. That's pretty interesting.
Like we literally have, we've got pictures under the sea where we're literally playing as a band. Like each one of us with like a different instrument or whatever. Last year we did a dive on National Day. So I can share that footage as well, so we can like put some of that in, where we went down with the flag. And 2 years ago when I was in Sharm el-Sheikh, it was when Bahrain won, what's it called? We were in the final? I think we were in the final. And we also took down a flag to celebrate the fact that we were in the final. So just stuff like that, it's just really, really lovely. And bringing together in the Gulf as well, being able to dive for Amman, being able to dive for Jeddah, all these beautiful, beautiful locations that we have, you know, very, very easy access to. Has also just been a really lovely way to explore the Gulf in a way that I had never imagined exploring it before.
That's beautiful. That is just beautiful. So now, do you want to go more into diving, or are you going to have like another adventure altogether?
Actually, so right now I'm an advanced diver. So the first certification is just the basic dive certification, which takes you down to 18 meters. And then you take the advanced certification, which you can go down to a depth of 35 to 40 meters. And then after that, you could become a rescue diver, and then a dive master, and then an instructor. So that's kind of the process. And I'd like to become an instructor one day, because in Bahrain, I think a lot of women I've spoken to and met with would love to go diving, would love to learn how to dive, but would want to have that in a more, I don't know what word to use, but just in an environment where it feels a lot more kind of closed, as opposed to having mixed groups and stuff like that. And I would love to be able to provide that safety and security for people who are interested, who want to do it, but just don't for specific reasons.
Well, you know what? We can't wait for that.
Inshallah.
You know, pretty much we will be supported in all of that, and we can see that program happen, and you're going to be leading it and instructing it. So I can see that happening, definitely.
Inshallah.
So any last words to your viewers?
I think that if you haven't tried, I think a lot of people tell me that they're scared. And when they start, they actually find that there's very little to be afraid of. So I would highly encourage anyone that has that fear to at least try to get the certification, because you're going to start at the pool at the end of the day. You're going to be 3 meters down. You're not that far. You literally stand up and you're fine.
Oh, we're back again.
So it's there's no danger there, and you'll know whether or not that's something you're capable of. So I would encourage people to try.
This has been a very beautiful talk, if I may say. definitely. Just like a pearl. So, we can't wait to see this program happen and, have you back again for another adventure. How about that?
It would be lovely.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for your time.
A great pleasure, definitely.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it yourself with La'ala, the beautiful talk about what's happening under the sea, but pretty much how can you live your life to the max. All that took place right here on Bahrain Now.
The university's 195 virtual forum united higher education personnel from all over the world to share experiences and expertise. The event was organized by Sheikha Noura bint Khalifa Al Khalifa, the board of directors chairperson of MedPoint Company, and her team, and the event was incredibly well received by local and international participants.
We have 4 themes. Sustainabilities, future major, showcasing higher and vocational education. The full topic of the event itself, showcasing higher and vocational education in general, it's something that really inspired me, since we have an institute as well and we try to tie up educations with training in general.
This conference has given us an opportunity to see what other countries are doing in higher education, how they are dealing with this. With this disruption, if you like. I think this disruption has been both a challenge, but also a huge opportunity for institutions around the world to rethink how the higher education sector is currently being managed.
Our participation was through different means. Maybe I took part in a panel discussion where we looked at the future specialism, future skills of our graduates, and the university took part in the exhibition. One of my colleagues gave a presentation about the university and its program, so it was really good for promotion. This was done by the Director of Marketing and Public Relations. We have listened to a lot of people from across the globe, and they were telling us or sharing their experiences with us about future direction of universities, how universities and colleges may look like in the future. And of course, it's very, very important for us to learn about the practices in teacher learning and research, the student support and quality.
The topics are really tremendous. They are beautiful. They touch exactly what we are talking about. Where do we go with higher education? What's the future of university education with the changing environments and changing technologies?
A lot of the speakers spoke about technology and teaching and learning. Now, and different institutes and different universities adopt different methodologies in implementing technology in the classroom, and we've listened to them. And so, to us, we get to choose sort of what works best for us and our programs and our models and our students. And so that's a direct implementation of what we've listened to in the conference and the experiments that we have seen into our institution.
Because when you go to this hub, a conference is a hub, and people are exchanging knowledge. So this will sharpen your knowledge as somebody who attended the conference. Then you can share new ideas with colleagues, with those attendants, and then more about the latest innovations. A lot of things that mentioned in the 195, there were new ideas.
So just developing the connections and having the relationship with the Bahraini universities and the universities abroad, if it is on higher education or even on vocational training, exchanging students or exchanging different knowledges and researches as well. And that will really help the economy itself. This event means a lot for me. I always dream to do international events in general.
We love to participate in this in midpoint events, whether it's exhibitions, but this particular one, the last one, which is University 195, was extra unique. It really brought international speakers to Bahrain.
The Kingdom of Bahrain's educational infrastructure was praised, in addition to the event's impeccable organization and prestige.
the main factor that makes up Bahrain's thriving education scene is really, I have to say, the very clear and strong vision that has been set forth by the Higher Education Council. That vision of positioning Bahrain as the regional hub for quality education is very, very strong. It's directly in support of the 2030 vision. And where there is a vision, there's a destination. And where there's a destination, there's a roadmap.
But Bahrain is really unique. It is welcoming. And the financial market and the investment is very encouraging and it's rewarding. And higher education, if you like, people talk about clean energy. I will talk about clean investment. Clean investment. There is no better and noble thing, no noble investment more than investing in higher education.
Have very robust programs. Why? Because everything was examined and tested and investigated by the quality bodies and the accreditation bodies. So everyone knows what he's doing and everyone knows the objectives, and the programs are very effective.
A lot of very, very useful lessons, and this was a great conference. Once again, I would like to congratulate Excellency Sheikh Noura for her leadership and the great efforts to put into this conference.
All the people who trusted me, especially the people who didn't know me from abroad, I really thank them from the deepest part of my heart, especially leaders like the ministers who met me and they replied to my phone and they felt it. They felt it deep down. If I'm talking to leaders in Bahrain, I think they already know who is Noura. So they saw the work. But people from abroad, they just go for it because they felt it. They work on the same field. So it's in their guts and they know that this is what we do. And this girl, okay, she's doing it. She believes in it. So I would like to thank them from the deepest part of my heart. And I know that we have more than 100 speakers, especially their excellencies, ministers, academic, CEOs of presidents, owners of university. I don't want to mention anyone's name because I know that I might miss some of their names, but I'm thanking them personally. 2 days now after the event, I'm thanking them personally, and I'm saying that worldwide and deep down of my heart. I also want to thank my team who was there and who supported me on achieving this dream and to making this dream come true.
This was Khalid Hidris reporting for Bahrain International TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for another great episode of Bahrain Now. As usual, be sure to reach out to us on our social media accounts shown below. Stay tuned for more exciting segments on Bahrain Now. This was Bara Abdallah. Till next time, Bahrain, goodbye and God bless.